Welcome to Pub Talk, the unofficial official craft beer podcast of Oklahoma, where we're all about the 3 Bs, beer, buddies, and bullshit. I'm Michael, and with me as always is a man on a quest to drink all the beer in the Midwest, Jeremy.
Hey.
On today's show, we're back on the road again, this time to Ponca City to talk with great folks at Vortex Brewing and to celebrate their 1-year anniversary. If you like what you hear today, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and drop some love on social media at Pub Talk Podcast. All right, let's get into it. So first off, thank you for having us out.
Well, thanks for coming.
And congrats on your 1 year. If you want to just give our listeners a quick introduction of who you are. And
my name is David Thomas. I'm one of the co-owners. There's 4 of us. I'm one of the co-owners of Vortex Brewing here in Ponca City. The other 3 are Jimmy Allen, Spencer Boatman, and Mark Spalding. And we are all friends who are homebrewers. And with the law changes back in 2016, we decided that, you know what, we want to move to the next level and start, instead of just home brewing, bringing craft beer in a brew pub to a small community like Ponca City. People thought it was a gamble. They didn't think it was going to work. It was such a small town, but it has been, Ponca City and the surrounding areas have been very, very supportive of this. This has been like this. It's crazy how, we stay busy all the time. So we're racing to, get the next beer into the kegs because we're running out of beers. So we're always chasing it.
That's awesome. So talk to us about the name, Vortex Alley, how you guys came up with that. If it's got any special meaning.
Well, actually, Mark's now wife, is his fiance at the time, actually is the one who, and I didn't mean to put finger quotes up when I said wife, but it actually is his wife.
It's audio. It's fine.
Yeah, so, but I caught myself, and I don't know why I did that. Anyway, she came up with the name. She came up with Vortex Brewing. And Vortex, so she brought it to me, and, when you have 4 people trying to come up with something, it's hard to get anyone to agree with, when you have everyone agree on it. And the name was kind of important that we had to all agree upon it.
Yeah.
Sure. So Vortex Brewing was brought to us, and Vortex. So when you whirlpool in your wort, when you're bringing it before you start chilling it, you're creating a vortex at the bottom, because what it's doing is taking all the trub and everything and bringing it towards the middle, so you're not sucking it into your pot. So you're basically leaving all the trub down, as much trub as possible, down at the bottom of the boil kettle. Also, Vortex is Oklahoma. That's pretty a given. But the reason why I was actually drawn to the name, Vortex by its definition is a center location that pulls things towards it. So for us, to go a little deeper, for me, it was like, that's what I wanted to be. That's what I want this brewery to be, a center location that pulls people towards it. So that's what sold me on the name, and it sold it to everyone else, and they were all agreeing. Spencer had to have Allie in there, so he's like, okay. So we threw Allie in there, which now I'm glad we did. It just doesn't. Vortex Brewing doesn't sound the same as Vortex Alley Brewing, so yeah. It all worked. And then Mark came up, gave us a rough draft of the logo, and we went to a local or a t-shirt shop here in Oklahoma, and they finished it up for us, and that's how we came up with our logo for it. So, yeah, it sounds easier than it was. It took about 4 months just for us all to agree on something. And that was crazy. Yeah. Because you can't even file for your LLC, you can't file for your LLC, but you can't even start filing any paperwork till you have a name. Right.
Nice.
So, and that took forever. I was like, this is ridiculous. We're just dropping stupidest things you could think of. And we at first we weren't going to call ourselves Derogatory Brewery, and then I actually looked it up, finally looked up the word. I told Mark, I don't think that's exactly what we thought it meant. So we thought it was like, we were going to name the beers like, we have the one called Tongue Tickler, and they were going to be very semi-offensive names. We thought derogatory had a different meaning. We was like, oh, so we'll be that. And we were like, that's not what that means. So it didn't work out.
How did the rest of the process go when it came to planning the brewery up to getting up and running a year ago?
It took about 16 months from the moment we signed the lease on this building here. Okay. It took 16 months from that point. This place was not in good condition. The ceilings were falling down. It was pretty bad. It used to be a reptile shop, so it smelled like reptile piss. It was so bad. It smelled so bad for months. The only thing that actually killed that smell, we had a generator that leaked gas out of it one day, and that actually finally killed this reptile piss smell. And the gas smell went away after a while. We just scrubbed the floor and it went away, and I was like, I don't smell the reptile piss no more, so we're fine.
That's awesome.
Should have taken the snakes next door for the rats.
Oh my goodness, man! Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad here, and it was in pretty bad shape. So we were all working. We all had jobs, and so we were kind of doing this on every spare moment we had. So when we get off work, we were up here. On the weekends, we were up here, and we're scrubbing, we're painting, and we're building. And that pallet wall right there was a long task. Getting pallets, breaking the pallets apart. Sanding all the wood down, taking the nail, or cutting the nails off, or taking the nails out, depending on which one. And that took time to just gather that much pallet wood.
Yeah.
So that took a little time. We built those. The chairs you're sitting on, Mark, which is that guy right there, is a welder by trade. So you saw the brew pots back in there, the stands. Yeah. He builds all of them. The chairs you're sitting on, he built those.
Wow.
It's made out of rebar. And stainless steel, and then we had tore down a barn, probably about a year before we opened. This barn was given to us, and we were just able to go over there and just tear the barn down. So you see all the tin around here, right? The wood on the bar here, some of this is reclaimed wood right here from the barn. This is where a horse would rub its neck against and scratch its neck.
Oh, wow.
A lot of this is fence paneling. Someone had donated to us, so we used fence paneling there and there. The bar is made of a lot of reclaimed wood, so a lot of this is reclaimed. We did a lot of reclaimed wood.
Awesome.
So our lumber cost was actually pretty low too. So we did a lot of it with very little funding. We financed it all ourselves. We took no loans. We didn't create any debt to building this, and we just financed it ourselves.
That looks awesome.
And
cool.
and the brewery too. And we got to a point where it's like we wanted all the things that everyone wants. You want all the shinies and all the bells and whistles, and we had to come to come to Jesus moment and say, hey, what do we really need to be a brewery versus what do we want? And it's like we need these things. We don't need these things, and so we cut out the fat and said, this is what we're going to do, and we'll create a brewery. And from there, we'll just start building from that point. So our mission was always, we'll grow as we go. And that's what we've done. So none of us take a salary, none of us take money out. It all goes back into the business.
Awesome.
And we've done it like that for the whole year. And we were able, like I said, within the first year, we were able to buy the building that I took you guys in. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we paid cash for it. And we don't owe nothing on it. We just bought it.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And that's kind of our aim going forward. We don't want to put ourselves in debt to do this, because then my thing is I don't want to work for the bank.
Yeah, sure.
So I said if I get the bank involved, now I have another partner. 4 partners is enough.
Yeah.
Now we'll have a 5th. We're like,
So, talking about the first year and everything, and other than the name and the process of building this place, can you kind of talk to us about any milestone moments or any maybe like, holy shit, this is real kind of moments and that kind of thing?
Actually, right before we opened, we got our permit. We got our last permit on October 27th, and it was our health inspection.
Okay.
And we got it. We were done. And I remember Spencer and I were standing here at the bar. We were drinking a beer, and I looked over at him and I said, "You know what? I guess we need to learn how to run a business now." So we learned. We knew how to brew. We knew how to build. Now we're like, none of us had ran a business. We were all in management in our jobs.
Yeah.
But it was like, I guess we need to learn how to run this place now.
Sure.
And it's been, you have times where you go, well, this is going to work, this is not going to work, and you may do something that doesn't work, but it's like everything else, like the beer. someone tells me, they say, well, what if you brew a beer no one likes? I said, well, the thing about if I brew a beer no one likes, I said, I'm not married to, it's only 45 gallons. I'm not married to it. So, it could last, it could sit in the back room forever until we get tired of stumbling over it. We pour it out, or we drink it ourselves, or we just give it to people, or we try to put it back on tap at a later time. I said, we're not married to it. Like when someone does a 30 barrel batch, it's got to be right.
Right.
It has to be, it has to be perfect. We don't have that stress put on us. Like, it's like, oh, damn. Like, we had a beer called Dilly Dilly, and we did last year. Mm-hmm. And it's a Saison that was soured, that we had soured, and it had a vinegary kind of taste to it. And half the people loved it, half the people hated it. One guy actually got so mad at us. I mean, he was so mad. He was cussing us. He wanted to fight us because that beer was made. I'm like, dude, it's just beer. And he was just so mad about that beer. It's like, there's 5 others on the board, man. You can choose any of them. Right. But yeah, he was pretty mad about it. But I've had people come in and say, man, that was a wonderful beer. Yeah. That was a spectacular beer. Yeah, so we get the opportunity to create beer and create, what we feel like creating one moment to the next, whatever we feel like we want to do this week or next week. And the thing about that is, man, the community has followed along. They love it. They love their taps change all the time. I did a couple podcasts right before we opened with a couple other, and their main question was, what are going to be your staple beers? And I said, we're not going to have any.
Oh,
and they were like, what?
Yeah.
They were like, no, everyone has staple beers, so we're not going to do that.
That's awesome.
And they was like, well, what are you going to do? So we're going to make beer, and then we're going to sell beer, and we're going to let the people decide what they want to be more popular, and then we'll put that on more often. It just won't be on all the time.
Yeah.
So we don't keep it, number one, Bountiful Harvest.
Yeah.
It's one of our top selling beers.
Okay.
But it's not always on. So, we'll make it, and once that runs out, it'll be about 3 weeks, and we'll make it again, and it'll be on another 2 weeks or so. And, Tropic Thunder, everyone loves that Tropic Thunder. They ask for it, and, that's Jimmy's recipe, and Jimmy usually handles that. So, he kind of took a hiatus from it for a little bit. The Goza, I usually do the sours. I had a spurt where I was just like getting this. I was getting my worts were going south, and they started smelling like vomit or rotten milk, and I had dumped 3 in a row. No. And it just kind of broke me. I was like, I can't do it again until I fix it. Really, that's what it counts. Like, I can't do this again until I fix what the problem is. Like, I figure out the problem is and fix it. And I talked to John Elkins and Scott and a guy Alex Lynn out of Limestone out of Wichita. Okay. Travis Richards. Talked to a few of those guys, and kind of got a plan on how we're going to handle it. So we approached it. We approached it a different way. Now, we've hit it out of the park every time. It's like boom, boom.
Yeah.
No problems. No vomit smell. No vomit taste. That's the worst, man. It's like walking here, like, oh. It's like now when I walk in here, it's like the first thing I open the door. It's like, well, don't smell like vomit. So that's
sure. That's interesting. I like the no flagship beer. That's very different.
Yeah, we have some that we do have our heavier rotation on. It's just that we're not going to always be on tap.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
I also took away one of our questions for the
All right.
So what got you into brewing beer? How long have you been doing it?
Mark. Once again, Mark was he's the gang leader of this thing because he's the one who started it all. I somewhere in time I stopped drinking beer altogether because the only beer I knew was the commercial beers that you can get. I wasn't really familiar with craft beer. So I kind of got away from drinking beer altogether, and Mark got and that's Mark right there, just walked in. We've been friends since we were 14 years old. We had kids, so some time lapse that we didn't hang around that much, but raising kids, getting your family going. Our kids got to a certain age, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm making beer. You need to come and try it." And I came over, and some of them I liked, IPAs I definitely did not like. I was like, oh, that's so awful. But it only probably took about 3 or 4 months, and I fell in love with IPAs after that too. So but that was the point. It was like once you get the taste, it was like, man, this is crazy. And then you start really thinking about what can be created, what you can do, what it is endless. Like it's endless what you can do with beer and how you create it. So he's been doing what, 20 years, Mark? 20 years. I came in so I've been doing 15 years with him. Then Jimmy came in probably about 10 years ago, and then Spencer about 8 years ago. Spencer was a Miller Lite drinker, drinking nothing else. He would drink a craft beer, and he came over one night and hammered drunk. I'm really not sure why he continued to do it, because he got hammered drunk, went home, vomited all over his bathroom, and still came back and found a love for craft beer. So I figured after he vomited, like a projectile vomited all over his bathroom, his wife was screaming at it. I figured he would never drink that stuff again. He turned the corner. I mean, he's actually at a corner right now that he doesn't even rarely touch Miller Lite anymore. Like he used to be like, he was still his go-to weekend beers or sometimes, or when he's mowing the lawn, but now it's like, I got this other beers.
I get it.
It's awesome.
Yep. I couldn't tell you less than Bud Light, Miller Lite, anything.
Right.
I lost a bet one time. I was living in Pennsylvania at the time. I lost a bet and had a drink of Bush Pounder.
Oh.
That's the worst thing. I was like, oh my goodness, I can't. This was the worst beer.
Found our fantasy football bet.
Yeah, that was horrendously bad. I was like, I couldn't. I was like, that's gross, man.
Yeah.
So I was surprised I ever did that.
So, we're from Tulsa. We have the luxury of having quite a few breweries here in town. I'm curious, what's the benefits, if there are any disadvantages to being in a smaller community like Ponca City, being the only game in town, that kind of thing?
Being the only game is pretty awesome because there's really not a lot of options. But I tell you what, the one thing is that we get to introduce people into craft beer. Yeah. Some people have never. One of the great stories we've heard. There was this one customer. She comes in and she came into our first opening. Everyone was curious about it. We were promoting it for 16 months, and so she came in and she started drinking a few. She really liked it, and then she came back, and then she, about 3 months after that, she started going. When she was going on vacation places, she would Google to see where local breweries were going to be at.
Nice.
Yeah. Because that's had changed her mentality. She goes, I don't really like beer, but this is really good beer. And I remember my wife told me that too. She goes, I don't like beer. I said, no. I said, you don't like the beer you've been given.
Yeah.
So it's said enough, because there's no way you don't like beer. That's just not possible.
Right.
There's too many out there for you not to like beer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't like dessert either.
Ooh, I don't like steak. It's like,
right.
What?
Haven't had a good one.
Do you have a certain beer that you recommend to the people that come in that only drink Bud Light, Miller Lite before coming into the brewery?
A lot. It's hard to do that because we don't really make to cater to that taste.
Yeah.
Or we make beer based off of what we think sounds good.
Okay.
Or what we like and what people like. So I mean, as far as the craft beer goes, we're not really making a beer that for that light beer drinking crowd. We have no interest in it.
Yeah.
We made one by accident once. I mean, it was by accident. We were brewing it, and Spencer was like making it. He was like, "So do that." I said, "I'm pretty sure it was my recipe," but he was brewing it that day. I said, and he says, "Well, it's only this much." I said, "Dude, that's wrong." He goes, "Why is it in there?" I said, "I don't know why it's changed, but that's not the right amount of grains." And he made anyway. Wound up being like a 3.9% beer. It was so, but man, they loved it. They loved it. They came and drank it and just loved it. We called it VBR. It was just so light. I was like, it's like I couldn't drink it, man. Just couldn't.
Nice.
Like, nope, not for me.
That's hilarious.
They said, everybody asked, when are you going to make that VBR again? I said, that VBR was a mistake. We're not making that again.
Oh, love it.
I love that. Do you remember your first craft beer? What kind of got you into it?
Mark had this one. What was it? What was it called? And I remember it's really what really hooked me in. Oh man, what the hell, Pale Ale is what it was.
Okay. I don't know if I've heard of that one.
No, you didn't. He made it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
He had made it, and we called it "What the Hell Pale Ale," and it was this had this really nice citrusy grapefruit note to it that I absolutely just. That's when I fell in love with that flavor profile. And even today, if I'm gonna have an IPA or something like that, I like the citrusy notes. I like that grapefruit notes. I like that flavor. I'm not a West Coast guy.
Okay.
Just not for me. Those other guys love it. Just not for me.
Right there with you.
Yeah.
But and that's the thing about craft beer. There's so many options out there that you don't have to be. Well, I guess you got to drink this piney thing because I got to have an IPA. I said, no. There's plenty of options out there. So now I can just drink whatever I want to drink.
Yeah, something for everybody.
Yeah, we got the guys from Dollhouse. We collabed with them a month ago, and then we did a Rosemary farmhouse saison.
Style.
Yeah.
7.3%, so a little strong for a farmhouse. But
And I'm going to do one in a couple weeks, actually the end of November, or maybe mid-November, spruce tips and oranges, and we'll do a saison with that too. I love spruce beer. They're hard to find. They're just not one of those things that you can find a lot of. It's kind of like smoke beers. You can't find a lot of smoke beers, and we all four of us love. That's one thing we do agree upon. We all love smoke beers. Okay. And you can't find those. Are very hard to find. We make some. We Giggle Smoke Stout is one. We have one called Altaholic, which is a German smoked alt beer. We've tried some other ones. But yeah, we've had, people come in and they'll say, man, I didn't know smoke beer was a thing. And they'll come in and they'll come in and find out they love smoke beers. Well, I didn't know you could do that with beer. They'll try sours. I didn't know you could. I never heard of a sour. And they'll sour beer. And they love that. So, it's that's more of a style that people, we have our notch scale, which I think, a lot of people who don't, and it's still a big beer. I mean, that's one thing we're having, like, I don't say we're having a problem with, because it's not a problem for us, but it's like all our beers seem to be pretty big. Like, if you look at that board right now, you have one beer that's under 5%.
I did notice that.
Yep.
I like it.
And that's all the time. And we had one time, like a couple months ago or 2 months ago, we had the beer list. The lowest percent beer on there was a 7.5. Everything else was huge.
Yeah.
Just we get in there. One thing we got better at brewing on this system over a year. Our efficiencies went through the roof, and when we started out, we were real low, like low 70s, and now we're in the high 80s on our efficiency. So
nice.
We're on an average, so it's just we had to go back and adjust our grain bills and adjust things like that to get us back in that range we want to be at, because when you have a honey wheat and it's 8.9%,
Right.
I guess you could put. That's why it's called
barrel-aged?
That's why it's called Bountiful, because it's such a big beer. It's like, but man, it's easy drinking.
Yeah.
It's like too easy too, because people come in and they'll start hammering those back, and they're really tasty, and they like them.
Yeah.
And they'll start hammering them back, and they don't know what they're getting into. It's like they're like, oh, wait a minute, that was 8.9. Like, yeah, you got to slow it down, man, just a little bit. You got to bring it down a notch.
Yep, that's another lesson you learn when you get into craft beers, to look at the ABV.
Yeah, we have people come in. I had a guy come in last night. He got a flight, and he walked out. He goes, "Man, I hit me." He goes, "I'm all warm all over and tingling." It's like, man, so yeah, so there's big alcohol up there. So,
we got a lot of homebrewers that listen to our show, and we talked about homebrewing a little bit earlier today. Were you or are you a member of any brew clubs like Red Earth and OKC?
I'm actually a member of at the Stillwater Brewers League.
Okay.
Yeah, they're close enough, and we get to go over there and visit with them. So we didn't have like say a brew club here in town. We had one that was a brew club / beer club called NOSC.
Okay.
Which stands for Northern Oklahoma, Southern Kansas. And we had an annual event called Brewapalooza.
Okay.
We've been doing it for like 3 or 4 years. We get together and a bunch of people homebrewing, and we've been doing contests with it, and people win. We have this trophy called Homebrew Over the Moment, and it gets passed around to the next person. Cool. And last year, the guy who won we invited him to come brew his recipe on our system with us, and then we sell it, and a portion of the proceeds went to a charity of their choice. So a charity or a cause of their choice. So we put it on our tap, it sold really well, and we gave it to him to give it to a proceed of his choice. So.
So you were gracious enough before we started recording to take us over to this new building you guys bought and kind of show us some of your future plans. Is there any distribution plans or anywhere?
Yeah, we're gonna probably start. We're looking starting a little small distribution here locally coming up pretty soon, and then we'll once that gets open, we'll go to more statewide self distribution. We're going self distribution.
Okay.
It just makes sense for us.
Yeah, it's nice that you can do that now.
Yeah. We're not producing enough to, really do all that. We don't have a canning line yet. Okay. So basically it would be more bar setups, things like craft beer bars and stuff like that. Like I would love to see our beer in the Patriarch. Myself. I would love to see it in a couple places over in Tulsa as well. So, and the other good news is, with the new laws, we're able to actually take beer and sell it to another brewery, and we can buy theirs and sell it on our taps as well.
Oh, cool!
So that's another thing that changed with the laws. We haven't done it yet because I'm not sure if anyone's doing it yet.
I haven't seen anyone do it.
But I would love to be able to have that option. To be able to introduce people to other beers. So we're supposed to be able to do ciders and things like that, which I'm down to put ciders on.
Right on.
So it's a difference, and I don't mind as long as they're not sweet ciders. I ain't sweet ciders. It's nasty. But give me a tart cider. I'm solid. Plus, if they're low alcohol, that's like it's a nice little break. Right. I can take that little break there. So
we talked earlier before we started recording about the cleaning process not being your favorite part of the kegs, which you share that with Bruce from Twisted Spike. He said the same thing. Is there a part of the process that you do look forward to doing, that you enjoy?
I love brewing, but it's all the same. You have to do all these things.
Okay.
Like one of the things we tell people who are getting into brewing, so if you don't like cleaning, don't brew, because that's what it is. So you spend 10% of the time brewing, and 90% of the time cleaning.
Right.
That's the law. That's the way it is. So if you don't like cleaning, don't do this. Yeah. And because that's what you're going to spend the majority of your time doing. And we're actually getting a chance here next month, December 8th, the local university center here. We're going to go there and do a homebrew class. Awesome. With them, so they're getting people signing up, and we actually have a homebrew shop right next door to us.
Cool!
And he's providing the stuff for them to homebrew on, and we're gonna actually have a contest for that too. We're gonna have a judging on that, and have people come in and bring their beers in, and we'll judge it, and whoever wins, we'll invite them here to brew on the system with us. So
nice.
So if you guys ever feel like judging some beers, man, let me know. We can always use more judges.
Great at judging anything. Anything else.
Steven is too. He's judging us right now.
So one of the primary ways we get introduced to breweries like you guys, kind of outline from Tulsa through beer festivals and things like that. I believe we talked to you guys at Wild Brew.
Wild Brew, yeah.
Curious if you've got any favorite moments, memories, pieces of the beer festivals.
Every time we go to a brew festival, and I think it's probably said about anyone who goes and serves at them. My favorite thing is when I hear someone come up and say, "Hey, I was told I need to come try X about this X beer," and that's always awesome. That means what's happening is someone's getting your beer, drinking it, leaving from that spot and going and still thinking about it and telling people about it.
Right.
So that's pretty awesome when that happens. So that's always my favorite thing when that occurs. So.
Do you have any recommendations for the people out there that are home brewing that might have aspirations of opening up their own brewery down the line? Things to expect or anything like that?
Yes, expect to bleed money for about 16 months. That's the truth. If you get ready for hurdles, get ready to bleed money, get ready for every roadblock to show up, and just be ready to pound through them, because that's really what it takes. You have to. It never stops, and it will keep coming. The thing is the pressure is to just keep pushing through it, because that's what it's going to take.
Yes. There was an airplane.
Yeah, I heard that.
It's going to take you pushing through, and you have good people around you, because that's important. It's if you don't have good people around you, it's really uphill all the way for 16 months. Once you get there, though, once you get to that point, the work doesn't stop. It multiplies. So that never goes away. So if you think, hey, when it's built, it's done, that we're good, you're still working. You're still going to work. But if you do it, you love it, it doesn't even matter. Okay. And we love beer. We love making beer. We love the process there. I like hanging out here. I'll hang out here and drink beer. And luckily, I only live like 2 blocks away, so that works out for me. If you love it, man. This is nothing. I mean, the work doesn't seem like anything.
Yeah. So today's 1 year anniversary party. Do you have any other upcoming events or anything like that you'd like to mention?
Yeah, next Saturday we have our collab brew release with Dollhouse Road Brewing. The guys are here. Steven, who's judging us right now. We're going to release their beer. Their Rosemary Farmhouse Saison. Is that right? We'll release that next Saturday. Have a nice little release party. They're getting a caravan of people from Pahuska and Bartlesville coming in. So it could get crazy, because I know those people. I'm gonna sit there and judge them when they come in.
I've been to Bartlesville. That might get crazy.
Yeah, been to Pahuska. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're actually gonna be doing a lot more work with Dollhouse in the future too. We're just gonna we're all these guys are great guys, and I've known them before we already started talking about doing the brewery here. I met these guys going to Hop Jam a couple of years ago, and we had a great time. And it was we hadn't said that we were doing a brewery at that time. It was shortly after that, but these guys, they make great beers. They're doing Hops for Hopes today. They actually drove all the way over here to drink beer for free, and then drive back to Bartlesville to drink beer for free. I mean, really, and judge us. And they're judging us. So we got that, and but we're going to be working with them a lot in the next year or so. Cool. And hopefully after they get opened up, their heads don't swell so big that they won't hang out with us anymore. And I'm going to go over to their place, and we'll sit at their bar and judge Steven the whole time. So that's my plans.
Right on.
But we're looking forward to them guys getting open, man. Once again, the small community breweries. I see that becoming a thing. I know they're popping up all over the city, but small communities are welcoming and really actually ready to host breweries.
Yeah.
One's going in Enid.
Yeah.
One's going over in Winfield, Kansas. Which for us, Winfield is not far. That's only it's like 45 minutes for us.
We hear Kansas and we're like, what?
Yeah, Kansas. You guys had the one. You get the one over in Pryor.
Yeah.
Really, we went over there last year on their grand opening. And then when we were at Wild Brews, actually a town had approached us about coming and building a brewery in their small local area.
Oh.
But I think they didn't just approach us; they were approaching everyone. Yeah. But I told some other guys they were looking to build a brewery in their town. I said, well, how far is this town from you? They said, like 15 miles. I said, you should go to this town. If this town doesn't want to, if your town doesn't want to offer you concessions, this town is offering concessions.
Yeah.
So I would go to that town if that's the case. So yeah, a lot of small communities are getting in behind this. It's great for tourism. It's great for it's great for the community. Yeah. You notice we don't have TVs on our walls.
Right.
Yeah.
That was by design, and it actually has worked out. We got a lot of pushback on it at first, because you open up November 3rd, games are on.
Yeah.
But a lot of people say, you know what? I'm glad you guys don't have TVs because they love the interaction. They love being able to come in and talk and have a conversation with people across the table from. People will sit down who don't even know the people that are sitting at the table. There's room, and then they'll strike a conversation with each other. So that's what brew pubs were supposed to have been. That's what taverns were supposed to have been anyway. That's what they were made in the beginning. They didn't have TVs, so it was made for talking about and creating rebellions and overturning governments and dumping tea in a harbor.
Yes.
I mean, so that's what that was all created for. So it was made around community. So that's what we are. We consider ourselves a community brewery.
Very cool.
Where can people find you online? Social media, stuff like that?
Well, we're on Facebook and Instagram. Usually posting pictures of me smoking a cigar and drinking a beer. We're playing Fallout 76 now.
Nice.
Or Facebook. We have our Facebook page. We're on Twitter. Very small blip there.
Yeah.
And then our website just went live Thursday.
Okay.
VortexAlleyBrewing.com.
Okay.
It just went live, it's linked on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
It looks great. And it's, they did, we had a local person do that, and Kelsey Wagner, who did it. She did an awesome job at it. So
awesome.
very proud of it. It's very cool. So we got that done. Took us a year to get that one done, and so that we're kind of doing it around our anniversary. So we got that one released. We put our new signs out up front. I don't know if you guys saw those things.
Yep.
Yeah. We got our new signs put up a couple weeks ago. So we just keep adding to it.
Yeah.
Adding to it. I think that's one of the things that people really enjoy about this too, is because we keep having to be able to share something with them. Like, here's another thing we're doing.
Yeah.
Another thing we're doing. So it never really ends.
Yeah, just keep layering it up.
It's kind of like the beer too. Like the beer's always changing. What they always want to say, what's on tap this week? What's on tap this week?
Yeah.
It's like it's a whole different. It's a whole new thing every time.
And that's really cool. I really like that.
Yeah.
Well, they love the variety. And, for us, that's why we did it, because that's how we like. If I go to a brewery and I've had the beers,
Yes. Yeah.
but they have beers that I haven't had, I go for the beers I've never had.
Yeah.
So for us, it's like we just keep making beers that people haven't had, and then we bring back some they have. So like number 1, 2, and 5 were all on the menu last year at this time on our anniversary. We've had 6 on before, we've had 4 on before, and we've had scar tissue, but not bourbon barrel aged scar tissue.
Oh, okay.
We've had scar tissue on twice. So
And for the record, that's awesome.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Oh my God, that was good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's all the questions we had.
Okay.
And we appreciate you having us out. This is a very nice place.
Well, you guys are welcome back, man. Anytime. You don't even have to record anything. You just come in and drink some beers.
Right on.
That's what we're best at.
Well, cool, man. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, Jeremy, close it down.
That guy said, don't let the door hit in the vagina on the way out. That was hilarious.
Good idea.
That's going to do it for this week's episode of Pub Talk. Thanks again to the guys over at Vortex Alley for having us out and for making delicious beer. If you're ever in the area, make sure to swing by and check their tap room out. Look for them at beer festivals and whatnot. And hit up their website, vortexalleybrewing.com. Search for them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Vortex Alley Brewing. And also do the same for us. We're on the web, pubtalkpodcast.com, and we're on all the social media at Pub Talk Podcast. And yeah, that's going to do it for this week. So as always, never forget there's nothing in life too big or hard you can't handle it over a few beers with your good friends. Until next time, just chill till the next episode.